Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of Paradigm Shift and Educational Comedy. And here we have Trowa Storm, aka Trowa, that Japanese word thingy that you can pronounce better than me.
Saisuki.
Saisuki. Alrighty. And we are here today to talk about the stigmas and stereotypes commonly associated with cosplayers and how, in most cases, they do not apply and are merely just fear-based psychological projections. And I will admit that at first, before you reached out to me, I even, suffered that just slightly because here you are, this beautiful girl with this awesome DeviantART profile and all these pictures and everything and just doing your thing. And, just the typical, oh, well, she's pretty and she's popular and she's got all this going on, why would she even want to talk to me, And that's kind of like, the whole stigma idea to where we, based on our own fears and insecurities and stuff, we psychologically project onto somebody else, and we're just thinking, oh, well, they're good at this and they're dealing with these people and blah blah blah, why would they want to deal with little old me anyway? You know what I mean? And especially with guys too, it's just like when a guy, looks at the girl doing her thing and he's just thinking she's probably just going to think I'm creepy or something if I say hi to her or whatever. And, but unfortunately with some people that morphs into an even bigger dysfunction to where it goes beyond that. And people are thinking oh, well, she's probably arrogant. She's probably full of herself. She's probably going to treat me like shit if I even try to talk to her or whatever. And you were telling me that you deal with a lot of that sort of, stigma within the cosplay universe there, because apparently you go to all these Comic-Cons and cosplay photo shoots and all sorts of stuff and deal with all sorts of people. And just recently you were at GameStop doing your whole Lara Croft thing because of the newest bit of badassery they've just come out with in the newest, video game series and all that. So,
Yep, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yep. So, tell us all about what you do with your cosplay stuff and the shit you take from the people psychologically projecting and all that good stuff that we've had plenty of conversations about, but everybody else wasn't privy to that. So, let's get into it. You've got the floor.
Well, basically, when I started cosplaying, I started out with the thing that I wanted to be a cosplayer that once I gained experience, I could help other people who wanted to do it. I wasn't going to be the cosplayer that just did it for the likes, that just did it for all the faves. I wasn't going to do it just to get attention. I did it because it was a hobby, and one of my cosplay idols, Jen Croft, you can look her up. She actually does the same thing. She is an amazing cosplayer, and she's such a sweetheart. She's so easy to talk to about cosplays. So that was basically one of the things that I started off doing. Is I wanted to be a cosplayer that any other cosplayer would feel comfortable coming to for help and asking for advice, or where did you get this, where can I get it, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know just recently, it's kind of been headlining in social media lately. There's this chick by the name of Asina O'Neill who did the whole social media modeling and all that stuff, and she was in this dichotomy of, instead of doing it because she enjoyed it and just expressing herself and doing her thing, she had this view of herself of, oh, if I don't have all these likes, if I don't have all these views, if everybody doesn't like me, then I'm nobody as a person and I'm pathetic and blah blah blah. So she got all the way up to this high status to where she had corporate sponsors and everything else, and she realized that she really didn't like who she was becoming and just how fake and bullshitty it all was. And, you know, so right now, I guess she's still going through some cognitive dissonance to where, like, part of her is still blaming the tools because, like, she had a bit of a freak out and, like, deleted her YouTube account and social media accounts and all this. And I think now she's starting to see, okay, that might have been a little drastic. So it's like now she's got, like, a new Facebook page and she's got a blog up at, like, you know, letsbegamechangers.com, I think it is, and whatever. And it's like you can kind of see the process of her trying to sort herself out and level off, and, you know, just kind of try to tell people about, you know, what happens to girls like that, and, you know, to not get caught up in all that, and to just do what you love doing because you love doing it, you know, so that you don't end up turning into this narcissist. A lot of girls I've noticed are actually afraid to acknowledge their own beauty, acknowledge their own creativity and all that, because they think, oh, if I acknowledge that, then, you know, I'm going to become this dark side of the force kind of, you know, narcissistic bitch or something, and I don't want to corrupt myself. When really narcissism is just the ultimate of low self-esteem and inferiority complex, that then the narcissist overcompensates by having a superiority complex. Whereas I've noticed a girl who actually is accepting of her self-worth and accepting of her beauty and realizes the effect that she has on people, it's a bit easier for her to take compliments. Her levels of appreciation are raised, and the more that she appreciates herself and appreciates her life, it's easier for her to appreciate others and appreciate what other people are doing. So the appreciation just kind of builds like positive bank interest, and nothing bad comes of it. Whereas, like, when people are in this self-loathing, that's where the narcissism comes in, because it's just an overcompensation for an inferiority complex. And I've seen, you know, so many girls go through, you know, the dichotomy of that. What do you have to say
Well, going
on
off that and mimicking it to a cosplay standpoint, you know, a lot of cosplayers go through that. You know, they're just starting out. You know, they go on Facebook or DeviantArt, Google, and they see all these girls, you know, who walk around in, you know, bikini cosplays, and, you know, the series Kill la Kill, those cosplays. They're all very revealing. So a lot of girls get it in their heads that oh, I got to be able to show skin and look really good in a costume in order for people to like my cosplays. And so that falls into the thing where I have to be, you know, semi-naked, semi-nude just for people to like my cosplay. No, that's not true. With cosplay, you know, you should begin to take pride in the costumes that you make. You know, you put in, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours of work into a costume. Yeah, you know, your butt and your boobs may not be hanging out, but you're fully covered in a costume that you made yourself by scratch. You put in the blood, sweat, and tears into it. Be proud of that. And if you're proud with your costume, that's where your likes are going to come from. You don't have to sell yourself out, you know, show your entire body just to get appreciated in a costume.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I know that, like, the girls, like, you know, whether it's cosplay or otherwise, any sort of, like, you know, them expressing themselves and whatever, the girls that I find, I guess, and I don't mean this in a societal context, but that I find the most hot, the most appealing, the most wow, are the ones that have that high level of confidence and the high self-worth, and that within that high level of confidence and self-worth, they are genuine people, and they express themselves genuinely, and they have equal respect for themselves and others. And, you know, these are the type of girls that don't treat everybody else like shit. They're not walking around like, oh, I'm all that, you know. They just have,
and that
this
comes
like,
out when they're in cosplay too, because they're walking around in the costume that they handmade, they spent hours and hard work of making. They'll walk around a convention and they'll see that in other people. So there's initially there a point of contact that they can talk to the other person about. It's just like, you know, walk up to them and be like, hey, I love your costume. How long did that take you? You know, what materials did you use? How did you do that? And it creates a likability to that cosplayer because they look human. Clearly their costume is not elitist material, but you want to know what? They're happy, they're confident in it, and the costume just looks amazing.
Yeah, and they're projecting this, just a sense of accomplishment and the sense of personal empowerment and the sense of gratitude
Accomplishment
and
because they made the
appreciation.
costume.
Yeah, and gratitude and appreciation instead of this, narcissism and vanity. And it just like it really shows. It's like, I like to say that, hey, a beautiful body is just a corpse without personality. So it's like when I see girls that like physically look beautiful, but their personality completely sucks, that's ugly to me. That's nasty. That's like skanky, skankzilla yuck. Whereas a girl who is just genuinely herself and authentic, that is a complete and total turn on. And it just makes you feel inspired by her, and you're thinking, wow, a little more hope for humanity here. Not every girl out there is one of these people going around, no, I'm all that there's actually some genuine relatable human beings. And that's really where the appeal is, because it's not simply just what they're wearing or their popularity or whatever. It's that outward expression of authenticity, that they put themselves into this and they are expressing as themselves, and they're not trying to live up to anybody else's expectations. It's just like, hey, I'm me, so yeah, there it is, whatever. And that's just totally cool.
Yeah.
So how often do you think, in your experiences, do you come across, I guess the problem of beginning cosplayers having, all of these preconceived notions and psychological projections? Like, is it a minority of the time? Is it like half the time? Is it most of the time? Like, how big of an epidemic, is this?
I'd say it's become more of a problem in the recent years, since the media has actually taken a focus on cosplay. The whole thing about, you can see the differences when you go to conventions about qualities of costumes. You get some people, who spend hundreds of dollars on their costumes, whereas, cosplaying on a budget like I do. And it's become more and more common now that the media's turned its attention. You get some of these big name cosplayers going to these little conventions because they get more praise there, because a lot of these small town conventions, people just don't have the funds to put into these hundreds of dollars costumes.
Yeah.
And you'll see it when you go to conventions. They'll huddle in groups, or like stay out of like the main corridors. I like to go up to them and be like, that is an amazing costume, how'd you make it? And you can see it when you walk up to them. They're all like, I know my costumes aren't the best, but I work on my costumes, so I'm 100% satisfied when I get done. I mean, I ask my friends for help, and we put our blood, sweat, and I put my tears into my costumes, because sometimes you just want to throw them at the wall. So when I put them on, I feel the sense of accomplishment, be like, hey, I made this myself. It was hard. Sure, it doesn't look 100% accurate, but I'm comfortable in it. And so I think it looks the best out of everybody's. And I just wish more beginning cosplayers would have that much faith in their costumes. But I do understand, going to conventions, that it can get overwhelming because everybody comes into cosplaying with a different level of skills available to them.
Yeah. In most of your experiences, like, do most people come up to you recognizing that, hey, you're just a regular, person who's just enjoying what she's doing? Or do you get more of people assuming that, just because they have an opinion that they like your stuff and it's good, that in their mind they're thinking that, oh, well, she must be some narcissistic bitch or something? Like, are you getting more the negative reactions from people, or more the positive reactions from, I mean, I know the people who are more experienced and are already in your circles, like, they know you're not some stuck-up bitch or whatever. But like the newbie who knows nothing about you and sees you for the first time, like, what type of responses you typically get from them?
Well, typically, most of the cosplayers that I meet are just beginning out, are typical really shy, but when they come up to me and they'll strike up a conversation, and I'll be generally interested in what they have to say. So I guess I would fall in the norm of they don't have a problem coming up and talking to me. At least from what they've told me, I seem really approachable to them. So, and I enjoy it. People coming up and just randomly starting up a conversation while I'm at a convention.
Yeah. How approachable do people view you on DeviantArt? Because, like, you know, like I said, I admit to the fact that at first, you know, it's like when I was looking at your profile, it's like, you know, like in my basic experiences on DeviantArt, like I've noticed that, you know, a lot of the girls that, you know, have like the more, you know, popular, you know, profiles and stuff like that, and are doing really good stuff. A lot of them will kind of have this, like, you know, looking down on you sort of attitude, or like if you approach them, they kind of have this like, well, who the fuck are you and why are you talking to me? Oh, you're male, you have a penis, that means you're the enemy, why are you speaking to me, get away. It's like, oh, all I said was hello, what the fuck is your problem, you know? So it's like over time, it's like I had kind of, you know, developed a bit of that stigma that, like, you know, if somebody, you know, girl is pretty and it's, you know, successful with their profile and stuff, that it automatically is most likely going to mean that they're going to like look down on me like, who the fuck are you, I don't know you, you're a creeper, you're a guy, you're the enemy, you're the opposite gender, get the fuck out of here. And like with you, it's just a pleasant surprise that like you weren't like that, and you approached me first. I mean, I think we've been watching each other on DA for I don't even know how long of a time now, but it's like you approached me, and I just like, I thought that was really cool. Just like, wow, she actually approached me, and she noticed my journal about, you know, the DeviantArt features and stuff, and she's asking me about it. And like, wow, this is cool. So it kind of like totally blew, you know, my paradigms away.
Well, I think a lot of the issue with people messaging a lot of more well-known popular cosplayers is that they are more well-known. They deal with, you know, hundreds of people messaging them, noting them, and a majority of the time it's messages is like, oh, you look really hot, or show me some more boob and butt. Like, so you got to realize that a lot of these more well-known, especially female cosplayers, get harassed. 95 messages and notes, and they won't post it on there because it's none of the public's business. But I know a lot of the times that I've not personally been on it, but I have received a few messages that it's just, it hampers your excitement towards new people talking to you, because you never know what they're going to be like. And when you get hammered and assaulted 95% of the time, when you open up your messages and you see these notes from random people thinking, oh yay, somebody wants to talk to me, and then all the messages, nice, but you should show more of it. Or you get hammered on all sides by, you know, just guys being pigs and saying sexual comments, and it's just, it wears on you after time. And yes, I will admit that I fell into that category for a while. It's just like, I'm tired of doing, you know, my Tomb Raider because all I'm getting is compared to Lara Croft, or how I don't have her body type, or I need to show more of my body to be like her. And it's just like, no. But then a couple of my really good guy friends, it's just like, well, why do you listen to him? I was like, it's kind of hard not to when you're getting hammered with it 95% of the time. But then, you know, one day I just sat down with myself and I was like, you know, not everybody's going to want to do that. Some of these questions are actually legit. You can't know just by one comment.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of where the issue comes from, because a lot of the new cosplayers will message, you know, a more experienced one and be like, hey, they're not just going to automatically jump into what they want to know, because they're like, well, I don't want to get yelled at, or I don't want to think that I don't want them to think that I'm just doing it because I didn't try myself.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, with my statement, I'm not just talking about cosplayers either. I mean, there's a lot of really, you know, wonderful, talented, expressive ladies out there that do all sorts of awesome work, and, you know, they take, you know, an equal amount of shit for it, you know, like you were just saying. So they kind of like get really defensive, and it's unfortunate when a lot of them get completely shut down. It's just like, I can understand like being careful and not wanting to deal with creepers, but just like assuming that absolutely everyone that's going to approach is absolutely going to be a creeper, and like responding to hello with this condescending, like, get out of here, I'm just automatically going to assume you're a shithead sort of thing. You know, they're not doing themselves any kind of a service either by doing that. That's just like how a lot of the girls, like, you know, when they believe that nice guys don't exist, there could be nice guys all around them and they don't see them. So it's almost like they're locking themselves into a self-fulfilling prophecy where all they're ever experiencing is the jerks and assholes, because that's all they're willing to think of as reasonably existing. So, you know, all the nice ones worth dealing with, you know, it's, I mean, I know I've given you the little white stain on the black dress analogy. You know, one of two ways you can roll with that. Either, oh wow, there's all that black dress, and you know, this little white stain's going to be hardly visible amongst all that black dress, or oh my god, the whole dress is black and that white stain, it's white, it's just going to stand out. And it's funny how, you know, it seems like whatever the negative connotation is the one that you know, the girls tend to go to when it comes to literally a dress. It's like, oh my god, horrible, a stain, but when it comes to being able to see the nice guy in the sea of assholes, it's like it goes totally into a flip reverse. Instead of like, oh, he should be easy to spot, just like that stain will be easy to spot. Instead, it's like, oh my god, how am I going to see the nice guys that are in this vast sea of assholes? So it's really all a perceptual thing. I mean, I know I used to have my own perceptions of that, because, like, you know, guys are just as guilty. You know, when guys are used to, you know, girls just being so defensive and bitchy and whatever, and they start to think, oh, well, this must be the only real reality, then they completely miss, you know, the nice girls that are out there. And it's like only, you know, within recent times with my own shifts in you know, perceptions have I been able to develop a better quality of female friends, such as you, for example. And all the more, you know, dramatic people like find me so insufferable they don't even want to deal with me in the first place. They just stay away, which leaves then only the people that are worth dealing with, you know, such as yourself and people like Kristen and Katerina and Daphne and, you know, so on, etc., etc.
A lot of that too is, again, falling back that, you know, some people are just so assaulted by the general masses that, you know, like, kind of like with the nice girls slash, you know, the bitchy stuck up girls, is you got to realize what have they been through to make them that way. Were they just born that way, or is it just for the fact that they've been hammered with it 95% of the time, that it's just like the only way to deal with that is to become defensive about it, because they're just tired of having it shoved in their faces.
Yeah, you know, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. One thing that I've learned is that instead of reacting to that in the way that I used to react to that, just give myself permission to be me no matter what, and just actively respect their rights to be themselves, and just say, hey, look, you know, I'm sorry you're taking me that way. That's not really what I mean, but I'm more than happy to respect what you want. So, you know, I just wanted to have a conversation and get to know you and whatever, because I value you as a person. But if you want me to fuck off, you know, not a problem. I'm just going to go right ahead and I'm going to respect what you want because you reserve that right. And then they kind of do a double take, like, wait a minute, I'm being respective. That's not real in my belief system of reality, but yet it's happening. Now I have to reevaluate this, because it's like you said, these girls are just used to what they're used to. So the only way to really get their attention is show them something different. Treat them with respect, even if they're not being respectful to you. So that way, if they truly are disrespectful cunts to the core, then they're going to be like, oh, I don't want to deal with him, and they're going to go away anyway. And then it's like, okay, your time is not wasted, thank God. But if they really are sweet girls that are just really fed up with the harassment, then they're going to pause and be like, okay, wait a minute, I'm not being harassed. Maybe there might be something to investigate here.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. So why don't you tell us about, I know you said you were at, you know, doing the Lara Croft thing at GameStop. Tell us how that went. That sounds pretty cool.
Well, I'll admit that I didn't stay there for the full time, but the new Tomb Raider recently just got released, and I'm a big fan of the Tomb Raider series, obviously, since I cosplay from it. She was one of my first cosplays, but it was just like, I love Tomb Raider. I want to go out and help support it. So I went to the local GameStop and asked him. I was like, you guys getting the new Tomb Raider? And the girl that was working, she's like, yeah, we are. We're going to start putting it up at like 9 o'clock to be for the midnight release. I was like, well, I'm a cosplayer. I love cosplaying Tomb Raider. Could I come down and help with the midnight release? And she's like, oh, yeah, that'd be great. And just kind of unfolded from there. I only stayed for about an hour and a half because it was really cold and the big hype was for Fallout 4. So it was like the Tomb Raider crowd didn't actually get there until I had actually left. So, but that was pretty cool. Yeah, it seems like after I left, I got a bunch of texts. Well, where are you? We're here for Tomb Raider, and you're not here. But it was Fallout when I was there. And I was like, I'm already home and out of the gear. I'm not getting back in it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, guys, I was here for an hour and a half. It's you that's late, not me.
Well, a lot of my friends were still at work and everything else, which I can understand, but it was just like, I'm not getting back in all that gear. Nope, I love it, but I don't love it that much.
Yeah, no kidding. So, like, I know that, you also do a lot of, like, photo shoots and stuff, and, there are photographers that do all that, and then all that ends up on your DeviantArt account. So, like, what's that like? Like, what types of photographers do you deal with, and like, how does all that roll?
Well, I have my two main photographers that I love using, which are my best friends in the world. One is Naughty's Nature's Photography. She does amazing work, and she's super fun and bubbly to work with. But I've worked with other photographers, and I love working with photographers who understand that, it's not all about over-sexualizing the character. It's about bringing the badassness of the characters that you cosplay. Mm-hmm. And I found that, with photography and working with other photographers that, it's just use common sense with it. If they ask you to do something that you're not specifically comfortable with, tell them. Don't just do it for the sake of the character. Hold to your integrity. And I mean, I have worked with one photographer who I was not comfortable with, and I walked off the shoot. It doesn't happen a lot, but there are some cases. It's just like, especially with the ladies, if you're going to a cosplay shoot with a photographer you don't know or you have not met, bring a friend. Whether it's a guy or a girl, bring a friend, because they're less likely to try anything shady.
Yeah, especially if the photographer's a guy.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not all guys that do it, too. There are some lady photographers out there who are just as bad.
They just get like all super superiority complex and like, treating you like you're just so beneath them, as if you're like a dog and they're snapping their fingers and expecting you to jump or something, and you're like looking at them like, I'm not your bitch.
Well, not so much that. It's just some people do it just because it's a means for money. It's not their passion, or it's not something they enjoy doing. They just look at it, you're like, okay, I'll take your picture, but then I want my money. And just people like that are not fun to work with.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, I notice sometimes you work with other people. Are those mostly total strangers that are also coming to the same photographer at the same time, or is this a group of friends you work with, or how does that roll?
It can go both ways. A lot of the times it's a group of friends that we've all correlated and brought together all of our costumes from like the same fandom. But a lot of times, like at conventions, it's just a group of people cosplaying from the same anime, and then it's just an official photo shoot. Photographers can be 5 or 6 a dozen. And we just all kind of pile into the center and be like, okay, go. Do poses, and then we'll take pictures.
Okay, let's see. Trying to think if there's anything else I left out or need to add or ask, or is there anything else you want to say that maybe you feel I haven't touched on, that like you want to make a point to get it out there, but I maybe have not gone there yet?
Well, I think going just back to my original message, if you are a new cosplayer or just starting out, or you've been going for a while and you're not understanding why your cosplay is not taking off, stay with it. You know, don't be afraid to go up and talk to other people at conventions. If they're in costumes and you find their costume incredible, go up and talk to them. You know, compliment them, ask for a picture, ask for a hug, ask for advice. A lot of the times, a lot of these cosplayers have the same insecurities you do. Go up and talk to them.
Yeah, I think a lot
The
of
worst
people
thing
also.
that can happen
Oh, go ahead.
the worst thing that can happen is they blow you off, and then you just need to have the mindset that, okay, they blew me off, they are obviously not worth my time, and that's not the people I want to be associated with.
Yeah, totally.
But I mean, even some of the well-known cosplayers still suffer from that. You know, they don't think their costumes are any good either. We all have different sets and skills when we go into cosplaying. Go up and talk to some of these people. Chances are they are more than willing to help you, go above and beyond to help you, and everything else. Don't be scared to go up and talk to them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people also kind of see they're used to seeing time as the enemy, especially, you know, having been through school and all these unreasonable deadlines and so on and so forth. So a lot of people have like this instant gratification thing to where like they want their DeviantArt profiles to be big and popular now. They want all this stuff now, everything now. And it's like planting a tree seed today and expecting a 40-foot tree tomorrow. And it's like life just does not happen that way. And you know, when they see they're not getting like this instant success, instant recognition, whatever, you know, then they're like, oh, woe is me, I suck, I'll never be good at any of this, I don't know why I'm even bothering, blah 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 blah. And just people get into this big pity party due to their own, you know, impatience and their own low self-esteem, and they already think that oh, I'm not that good anyway. And so if they don't get like all this attention like right away, they just use that as a permission slip to just like bash themselves even more, and it just gets really neurotic. I see that with a lot of artists in general on DeviantArt. You know, they got all these people they watch that they like and everything, but they're getting so discouraged, and they forget that the people that they like, they started at the beginning too. It's not like they popped out of their mother's womb going, I'm an artist, fuck yeah. You know, I mean, everybody started at the beginning, and I think a lot of people really forget that. And what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to enable screen share so that we can check out your gallery a bit. Oh, there it is, trowastorm.deviantart.com. You can see that, right?
Yep.
Okay. There's one of your pictures there. Let's see here. Small photo thing I'll do every year just to showcase how long my hair is. Oh yeah, you've got like weapon length hair. You could like bitch slap people with your hair. You could like tie that up in a freaking braided band and just use that as like a hair baton and just like whip the shit out of people with it. I mean, God, look at that long hair. It's almost down to your waist.
All for cosplay's sake. I'm growing it out to do the actual original Tomb Raider.
Hair weapon.
Yep, this was actually last year when I grew my hair out.
Yeah, so now it's a little longer now. And then this.
I actually had the really long hair. It was just all coiled up and underneath that short wig.
You've got it all hiding.
Oh yes, people are still amazed every time I take off a wig and my long hair falls out. They're like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for that next one, I think I'll go to my variant, which you seem to like. Come on, DeviantArt, cooperate. this one. Call me a fragile feminine flower again, motherfucker. You got like your sword and shit there. Yeah, so that came from that one.
My friend Albert DeFleury was my Jalal for that one. Which
like,
I really didn't give him a choice. I was like, ooh, you're cosplaying Jalal. I demand a co-op shoot. And he's like, okay.
I'm just gonna own your ass right there, down on the floor, bitch. Your ass is mine. Did you color your long hair in that one, or is that a wig?
Nope, that is a wig.
Okay. And then this is just casual you.
Pretty much. When my hair was long again, we straightened it. We put so much product in it to keep it straight, and then we went down to the lake for a photo shoot. And then I work with another friend online, Daniel Makias. He's from Israel. He does a lot of editing work, so I said, feel free to use some of my photos.
And so then that is the end result.
Yep.
And we also have this.
This is one of my personal favorites that he's done from that set.
Let's see here. Anything in particular you want me to spotlight here?
Not really.
Yeah, here's one of yours when you were at one of the cons.
Yep, this is the con in Lansing, ShudoCon. This con is amazing to go to. It's in March this year. It's March 20th to 22nd, I believe.
March this year? It's already November this year.
Sorry, next year. Shush,
okay.
Don't judge me.
I was gonna say I forgot where I parked my DeLorean. Bit of a lower resolution one there.
Yep, this was a con hallway shot. It's basically, I saw this awesome Natsu cosplayer that is Landon Matthew, was also at ShudoCon, and I was like, Natsu, I need to get a picture with you. And he's like, oh, heck yeah. And that's just another example of finding a cosplayer that whose costumes think you awesome. I had not previously met this kid. I had literally just met him then. I was like, I demand a picture with you. And he's like, oh, heck yeah.
Well, of course, he's just okay. He's a guy. Gorgeous woman wants a picture with him. He's also not a stupid guy, so saying no would be stupid. And he's not a stupid guy. So there you go. And I guess just casually you having some fun at the beach.
Oh, this is actually a cosplay of a gender-bent Luffy from One Piece.
And see, this is another good example of showing some skin doesn't mean go all, you know, Pimperella. You don't have to go all like, you know, freaking Miley Cyrus on anybody's ass or anything. You know, you could do the whole natural, normal look and it's still hot. You don't have to go all like superstar slut them, as per what you were saying earlier. It's just about...
It's all about I tailor all of my costumes to be comfortable for me. So, like, in the terms of Tomb Raider, you know, she wears a revealing outfit. I wear the costumes, or I modify the costumes in such a way that it still looks original, but it's modified for my comfort level with how much skin I'm comfortable with showing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just my point is just, you know, there's a way to show skin in a way that's not slutty. is, you know, my point that, you know, people don't have to lock in on the whole, like, Miley Cyrus sort of, you know, oh, show more of that ass, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, this is just a total, like, natural, normal, on the beat sort of thing. And, you know, I think you're very pretty in this. And I don't think that, you know, oh, just because you're not going all Miley Cyrus on anybody's ass, that it's, oh, you have to be doing that in order for it to be considered hot, blah, blah, blah. That's all just, like, freaking societal programming, mental malware garbage. And I think a lot of people just don't know how to appreciate just the natural beauty of the female form, so they get like all into these, you know, ridiculous, you know, mainstream sexual archetypes, and then they think that, oh, that's an expression of sexuality, that's an expression of beauty, blah, 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 when really all that is freaking marketing. And, you know, people want to make money and shit. It's all, you know, it's all just like, it's fake and it's plastic.
Yeah.
I prefer authenticity. Like, look at this here. You're just chilling. You know, it's all authentic. It's pretty. You're looking good. You know, and it's all completely authentic. It's just, you know, you're naturally just being you. It's not all mainstream fakeness, plastified, fucking bullshit. You know, and I really, you know, I have respect for girls that can just, you know, be themselves and just, you know, be comfortable with being themselves. And, you know, here's another one here. You just kind of, come on, deviantART, be cooperative. You know, you're just chilling. Almost reminds me of the gallows. Oh, and the little navigation thingy went away. I'm gonna have to hit the back button. Silly deviantART, being all non-cooperative and shit. Yep, here's one of those badass shots there. Just kind of in the greenery there.
Yep.
And what is that supposed to be?
That is an off-brand shoot I did with a friend of mine. It's our Angel and Devil shoot.
And I think we know which one you're playing.
Naturally.
Naturally. You're the lady in red. Welcome to the Matrix. And there you are again. See, you know, that's custom, and that's pretty. I mean, I could totally tell that, you know, you did all that yourself.
I actually borrowed the dress from a friend of mine because I don't own a little red dress. So she owned it, and I was like, I need a favor. And she's like, what's that? And I was like, can I borrow your little red dress for a shoot? And she's like, oh, absolutely.
Well, you look good.
I had a lot of fun doing that shoot.
Sure seems like it. You seem pretty happy. You don't seem disgruntled or anything.
Yeah.
And then here's just you apparently chilling by a lake again.
Yeah, I just got my hair cut.
What were you doing with your hands here? You've got.
I was doing the traditional Japanese meow pose. That's a thing.
Oh, well, I've
Showing
never
my
heard.
anime geekness.
I've not heard of it, so. And then here's you doing your Laura Croft thing.
Yep.
That looks like a river.
Yep, it's the river by the dam here, actually in town.
I wasn't actually going to ask any geographics on it because, you know, we don't want any creepy stalkers doing anything creepy stalkery. Yeah, here in the Chicagoland area, we got a lot of, lakes and streams and creeks and ponds and rivers and all sorts of nature stuff too. Chicago, people should just ignore the mainstream view of it because most of Chicago is green. It's like Chicago is a forest in denial. Chicago's like, I'm a city. It's like, no, fuck you, shut up. You're a forest. Just deal with that. Only the minority of Chicago is the concrete jungle sort of stuff. Like if you're downtown and in areas like that, you're going to see more of the concrete jungle sort of thing going on. But the vast majority of Chicago is extremely green, as I've showed you video of.
Yeah.
And is that also by the dam, whatever dam you're referring to?
Yep, it's on the other side of it.
Yeah, we got no shortage of dams around here. And waterfalls and all sorts of stuff. It's actually very pretty. And so is that. Long hair again. Got all sorts of plants and stuff. Is that a pool behind you, or is that...
It's a fountain.
Yep, you do a lot of nature stuff. Yet another example of hot and natural without getting slutty. And plus you got your little badass gun stuff going on.
Yep.
Now here's the real question. Are the guns props or are they real? That's a question. Now, if they're real, I think any potential creepy stalkers might want to know that so that they can know not to go get their head blown off.
Well, I will say something for the stream's sake, that they are actually fake. All of the weapons and props that I use are actually props. They're toys that I've painted to look real. But I do know actually how to use a real gun, so stalkers beware.
Yep, stalkers beware. She can be just as much of a badass in real life, so stalkers don't fuck with the badass chick. Second Amendment for the win. Obama can kiss my ass. Is that by the dam again, or is that somewhere else?
This is by a lake.
Ah. One of the Great Lakes or a little lake?
Little lake.
Ah. I live next to Lake Michigan. Well, like not like right directly next, I'm like 10 plus miles away, but I mean, Chicago's right next to this big freshwater sea that we refer to as a lake for some reason. I'm not quite sure why.
Yeah.
I like your smile on that one. This one's cool. It's just like a natural look. You seem genuinely happy. And that's another thing I like is when you're taking photos of a girl and like she's genuinely naturally happy. She's not like putting on this fake smile like where she's in a bad mood and just trying to like fake it for the photography. Like, yeah, I'm smiling, see.
That's why I'm glad one of my best friends is an amazing photographer, because she is so much fun to work with. She brings out the natural smile in everybody she works with, and she's so understanding and willing to work with you if you're not comfortable with the pose. She was also the one that did my swimsuit one, which you notice in all the poses, I'm extremely relaxed. I'm comfortable with how I'm positioned, and she was willing to wait until I got comfortable with the shot before she snapped the picture.
Yeah. That's cool because, like, a lot of girls, when they do the photography stuff, it's like, they could be in like a really bad mood or uncomfortable or whatever, and they'll just try to, fake the smile just for the sake of the shoot. And it's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
no, it's impossible to be upset around this girl when she's behind a camera. She's amazing.
That's cool. Do any of these photographers ever do any modeling in front of the camera, or are they strictly behind?
I'm not going to speak for her, but she is a cosplayer herself. But she's more comfortable behind the camera. but I have been getting her in front of it sometimes.
Sometimes, every once in a while. Are any of those on your DeviantArt?
They are, but for since I don't have her permission to actually say so, I'm not going to point out which one she is.
Okay. That is fair. Let's see, what other interesting stuff we got here? Ooh, I hear someone in a bad mood in the background there.
Yeah, my nephew.
Ah. Ah, Poison Ivy.
A modern day take on her, yes.
Yeah, you were talking about these pictures just yesterday.
Yep.
Because we were on a Skype conversation with our friend Mike, which his DeviantArt is like, I always have a hard time. Whoa, there's a lot of background noise there. I have a hard time remembering his URL because it's like Bigira something, a bunch of numbers, whatever. But we were also on with Kazan or Kaxan or whatever, the dragon, Krista, and we were also on with Richard, aka General Tate, and yeah, we had quite a freaking party line going on. Even our friend Trent, who lives in Thailand, but he's Australian. You know, even he joined us for a little bit of the time there. He was being all paranoid. It was funny. It's like, okay, you can chill. It's all good. Don't worry. Just be happy.
Yeah.
This is just dress testing.
Yes, that's a costume that I am working on. It's actually done now. I'm just waiting to find a location to shoot. But yeah, that was another Tomb Raider outfit that is really revealing, that I've modified in such a way that I feel comfortable wearing it.
Cool. I must say I like it. Yeah, I've been wondering about that one because I didn't notice that in any of your other pictures, like except that one. So it's like, what's that one for? But you know, it's one of those things on the list of, oh, I'll have to remember to ask her about that later, and then the asking part doesn't necessarily happen.
It will happen eventually.
Yeah. This is hot. Look at that smile and just that look on your face and everything. That is adorable. Look at how absolutely freaking cute that is. Is that, are you, it looks like kind of, it looks Tomb Raider-ish, but without all the gear.
This is actually a character brought to life from one of my friend's books that she's writing right now. The character is Victoria Hunter. She's a bounty hunter, but basically she's one of the, I'm badass and I'm hot and I know it.
That definitely sums up this picture accurately. That is definitely what is being expressed here. But just know that's
captured the character well.
Yeah, that's not just the character, that is also you. You definitely put yourself in there quite a bit, obviously. I mean, even like in the film industry and in acting and everything, the best film characters are the ones that evolve as the actor's personality and the character's personality kind of become one, especially when they cast the character to actually match the actor as closely as possible so that the actor can play the character more naturally and you don't get a lot of bad acting going on. It happens a lot in Star Trek too. Like, you know, like Commander Riker on Star Trek. The way you see his personality on the show is really a lot like how he really is. So it's like I like it when you know the actor and the character are essentially one, and it brings out more of that authenticity. So yeah, you are hot and a badass, and you know it, and so that's why you are perfect for this. And you just present that level of adorableness, hotness, confidence in that like authentic way, not like that mainstream fake attention whoring way, like, oh, look at me, you know, it's actually like completely and totally just authentic. And like, look at that one, that's cute too. You're just sitting there chilling, like, yeah, I know I'm adorable, but not like in that narcissistic way, you know, but in that appreciative way. I think you realize the effect that your adorableness has on people, and then you feel very appreciated by it, and then that allows you to appreciate life more. And then here is the poison ivy once again. And is that also by the dam, or is that somewhere else?
That is actually on a nature trail.
Okay, so that's just a miscellaneous creek or something back there?
Yeah.
Anybody watching who doesn't have a DeviantArt account, of course, I highly recommend getting a DeviantArt account. DeviantArt is a really cool place, and I've been on this place practically forever. Why don't I have that one in favorites? Shame on me. Anyway, DeviantArt is a really great place, and I mean, I've met so many awesome people through DeviantArt, Trowa included, and just it's definitely a unique place. I've, you know, formed so many real, actual, meaningful friendships through this place. It's not even funny. So, you know, even though, yeah, just like anywhere else, you know, you're gonna have your trolls and your jerks and your fetishists and your, you know, all levels of that. You know, you've also got like your really genuine, awesome, authentic people, and you know, when you start running into those types, you know, there's some really awesome friendships that can be forged that are genuine. And here's you with your cat, and your cat's like, what the fuck?
Yes, that is my oh my gosh kitty. That is my cat now for going on 6 years, I think. That is Jinx. You might notice her in some of my on my Facebook profile, Trowa Saisuki on Facebook, that she is in almost all of my work in progress shots because she likes to be in the way all the time.
Oh yeah, and when we Skype, I definitely notice that that cat is like always up your butt and getting into things and trying to cuddle you and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, that's cat is definitely practically glued to you most of the time.
The joys of being claimed by a feline.
Yes, but is that kind of like the joys of being claimed by a fae in the movie Lost, or the series Lost Girl? Oh. Should I be a smartass and put that here? Obviously, lots of hairy pussy. I named it that to just be trolling because it's a folder of cats. It's all cats in that folder.
If you want to, go ahead.
Yeah, I just that's why I have that folder, so that people psychologically at first when they see it, they're like, "What?" They think it's something else, and they browse it. It's, oh, cats! Just lots and lots and lots and lots of cats. I will demonstrate that folder right quick. Come on, DeviantArt. There we go. Yes, so as we can see, tons and tons and tons and tons of cats. And I have 3 cats myself. And this is totally in the wrong folder. What the fuck? That should be female photography. It sucks when folders are right directly next to each other, and like you click on one, it goes into another, and all this stuff and things move around. Kind of sucks. But yeah, cats and cats and cats and more cats. In excess of 14 plus pages of cats and more cats and more cats. Crap loads of, oh, look at that one with the tongue. It's like, no. Lots and lots of cats. Animated cats. Cats freaking galore. Okay. Ooh, looks like one of your commenters got deleted off a DA. Hate it when that happens. Let's see. Anything else we should focus on here?
No, not really. I think we've pretty well encompassed my entire gallery, I think.
Oh, for the most part. I mean, I don't know how many more pages there are after that, but I guess people can kind of get the idea. I think we've been through enough for that. If people don't get the idea at this point, they're brain dead, and there's nothing I can do about that. Okay, so anything else you want to say or wrap up with? Or obviously we've given people your DeviantArt URL, trowastorm.deviantart.com. That's been all over the screen for like the last however many tens of minutes or whatever. So any other social media profiles or anything else you want to say or whatever as we kind of go into the conclusion of this?
Other accountants, you can find me on Facebook. Just search Trowa Saisuki. You can find the spelling of it down in the description. And there you can see what costumes I'm planning on doing, what are in the works, or what I'm looking for locations to photo shoot. Go ahead and add me on there, like, comment, and share, and everything else. On DeviantArt, if you are watching this, feel free to add me to watch lists. Send me messages. Don't be scared to strike up a conversation. I may not be able to reply right away because real life and other responsibilities, but I promise I do look at the messages and comments. I try to respond to everybody, and just don't be afraid to walk up to start a conversation with me. You know, it might take me a couple days, but I will respond.
Unless you're a creeper, then be afraid. Be very afraid.
Yeah, I don't tolerate creepers. And one thing I will ask that is, if you do strike up a conversation, please be respectful in everything that you say. Nobody likes dealing with an immature person. It's time consuming. We all have our own lives, and it's just, don't waste our time.
Yeah. Otherwise, she'll sick her dogs and her cats on you.
And you should be very afraid of Jinx. She's very vicious.
I take it she's not declawed.
Nope, she still has all of her claws. I refuse to declaw my cats.
Yep, mine got their claws too. So creepers, if you want your testicles to remain intact, don't have her sick her cat on you. Because if you fuck with her, you're totally going to get the type of pussy that you were not looking to get.
Exactly.
The painful kind. So any other social media sites around, like Twitter or anywhere else?
Nope, I'm only on Facebook and DeviantArt.
Are you on YouTube at all?
Not really, no. Sorry, I'm trying to time my mic in between the bursts of fit throwing up there.
Okay. I know that I know you were telling me at some point in the future you're planning on YouTube and also Sue, but there's some things you need to take care of first as far as getting a PO box and things like that. I think you also said people were offering to like send you like cosplay stuff, but you don't want to like give anybody your physical address, so you're just kind of thinking, well, maybe I should get a PO box so people can send me what they want to send me, and if they want to go creep the post office, at least that's not my house.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we may yet end up seeing her on both TSU or Sue, whatever you want to call it, and YouTube, but that's going to be something for the future because she hasn't gotten her PO box yet. So, but something to look forward to. And I'm sure we'll have her back on PSEC again so that you'll be able to see her lovely face in motion and video and hear her beautiful voice and all that good stuff and hear her rant on and on about her newest cosplay adventures and so on and so forth. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Anything else you want to say? I don't want to just like shut it down and be like,
Nope, not really. I think we covered everything.
alrighty, cool. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and hope y'all have a nice day, night, whatever it is, wherever you are, and catch y'all later.